everyone. Welcome back to the Healing Words podcast. Our guest today is Domo Jones. She calls herself an author with earmuffs, a business owner with a disability, and a stigma-breaking talk show host who enjoys fruit snacks. She's a firm believer that how you feel is more important than how it looks. Welcome. Thank you for joining us, Domo.
Thank you so much for the opportunity. I'm excited.
So I can tell right off the bat, this is not going to be our normal, usual interview. I see some spice. I see some sass. We're going to
Listen,
have a good
I'm
time
glad you know.
today.
I'm glad you know. I'm
Okay,
glad you know.
I'm not
Precursor.
shocked. Okay, first of all, let's get right into it. You received a life-altering, life-changing diagnosis about the age of 9 or 10. Tell us what was going on back then.
Yes, ma'am. So it started off, I was visiting my dad for the weekend, and he noticed a slight difference in how I was moving, meaning like when I would be getting in the car, I would reach over my right side to close the door with my left hand. Or if I was playing
Mm.
with a toy at that time because I was young, um, I wouldn't use my right hand at all. And what triggered was he was calling my name, and he was calling my name on my right side, and I didn't hear him. And our parents like, oh, so you ignore me? Okay. But in actuality, I literally couldn't hear him, not knowing that I was becoming deaf in my right ear. So that was the kind of like the icing on the cake. Um, Rushed me to Kaiser Sunset, did a lot of tests, MRIs, CAT scans, all that. Come find out, I had a brain tumor and it was pressing against my nerve spine, and that was stopping the growth in my hearing. Who knows? They didn't know how long, they couldn't tell, but the damage, I honestly, the damage was done because I had nerve damage and I had muscle weakness and I was deaf, so they did emergency surgery.
Okay, and tell us where you are now in your health journey.
So now, my brain tumor, the type of tumor that I have, I don't have cancer. It is benign, but it is a slow growing tumor. So every few years, some type of ailment happens where I have to get checked up. Right now, I'm at a place of, I just get checked once a year. I do my MRIs. I do still have the muscle weakness and nerve damage, but I try to stay mobile and active, try to do physical therapy, something just to keep what I do have mobile.
And how does this present in your day-to-day life?
Man, that is a great question because I don't even know. I wake up in the morning like, body, you gonna work today or not? Because we like, can I do something or not? Right now I'm at a place to where, because of the muscle damage and nerve damage and muscle weakness, I do use a walker for balance, and I do have 2 leg braces. They're called AFOs, and that's to keep my balance, because also one side is shorter than the other because it stopped growing during that time. So I kind of maintain my mobility through that. But as far as how my body functions, I kind of have to literally like go with the flow. Every morning is different, just based on how my body is feeling. I don't know what a day feels like not to be in pain, but I live with it. I know how to maneuver with it. But if it gets overwhelming, I don't mind saying no. No, I'm not doing that. You have to wait.
Self-care.
Period. Self-care.
That is self-care. Now, I'm
Yes.
wondering, and you're talking about the limitations that your body has. Do you have any external, if you wake up and it's raining outside, do you automatically know it's going to be a rough day? The stress or the food you eat, any of that?
Yes, yes, and yes. So let's start with the weather. The weather, my body, you know how people with arthritis be like, okay, my bones are aching, so it's about to rain. Yeah,
Yeah.
my body is like that. And I'm only 36 years old. So I know when the weather is about to shift. My body definitely, it don't just tells me, it yells at me. Unless, be prepared, mother, because you already know what's coming
Rains are
next.
coming.
Right. So for me, in the summertime, I love the summer because my body is most loose. In the wintertime, you will see me with earmuffs, you will see me with a scarf, you will see me like bundled up from neck to toes because the cold air, it just gets to my bones and I will stiffen up. I'll have muscle spasms. It would be like the worst. So I try to like stay warm, drink warm things. You won't see me. I'll probably be as light as I don't know what because I stay in the house. I definitely stay in the house. When it comes down to the eating, I am allergic to everything. Literally, I just took an allergy test last week. I found out that I have to take it every 6 months because that's how many things that I'm allergic to. Had a lot of anaphylactic shocks. Ambulance came to the house on Mother's Day. Like it was just, I couldn't eat. Only thing I can eat for 2 weeks straight, 14 days, literally 14 days. I can only eat rice cakes, plain rice cakes, and beef jerky because everything else is triggering.
Okay, so they're like the worst things to eat. If you had added spam to that, I would not have been surprised. I mean, who wants to eat rice cakes and beef
When I
jerky?
say, when I say, I was
Who would rather
like,
not eat?
I'm saying, let me just fast. Let me just fast. Like it's okay because plain and nasty and like after a while, I said now that I'm able to eat a little bit more, don't put no beef jerky, don't put no rice cake in my face. Don't even say it. Let me say it because I'm throwing it away.
Okay, so at this point, you're slowly adding things back into your diet to see if you can tolerate them.
Yes, I definitely am. With an addition of just regularly. So what I found out is I can't mix food. I can't have like example like a salad with a whole bunch of different things because I'm not sure yet what's triggering. I don't know everything I'm allergic to yet because my allergies have shifted a little bit. So I literally have to eat like one thing at a time. Even like when it comes to everything, fruit, vegetables, seasonings,
Wow.
condiments. I just found out I'm allergic to mustard. I didn't even know that. Girl, right? So no deviled eggs. I
No potato salad.
can't have no link with a salad with no mustard on it and a white bread. Like I can't have girl, my black card about to be taken away.
I was about to say that. I was about to say, listen, I don't want to get racial in this piece, but do we need to pray that you can have your seasonings back?
Because the seasoning, like everybody know, dry rub the mustard. Girl, what?
And the garlic and the onion and the
The
paprika and the Old Bay.
that's I can't have no Old Bay.
We need to intercede for you right now.
I said,
This is
Lord, what are you trying to teach?
serious.
I said, Lord, what are you trying to teach me? Because enough's enough. I don't want to be used no more. Don't give me the strongest. I am not the strongest soldier. Can't be. No, not no more. No.
Okay, so in spite of these challenges, you have work to do, and you realize that. You have. I'm going to list these things, and then I want you to break them out and tell us about them because you're doing it, girl. You have a live radio show. You're an author. You're a confidence coach, and you're an entrepreneur.
Man, hearing it out loud, it's like, girl, what?
I'm
How,
like,
and when?
what? I'm
It's
telling myself, Pam, get yourself together, girl. Let's talk about
that's
your
good.
radio show because that is one of a kind.
Yes, ma'am. Thank
It
you.
may be,
I,
yeah, yeah. Let's talk about that.
I definitely appreciate it. So, the name of my show is called One Being Brave. I call it a talk show just because I just do it live. Like I do a live stream. Um, but it is a podcast and I only interview people with medical conditions, disabilities, and essential caregivers or like essential care workers. That's the only so if you don't qualify under that category, I'm sorry. There's another podcast for you. It is what it is. That's my passion because I live that life. So I understand what that community feels like. It started during the pandemic, literally, when everyone's life was like shut down.
Yeah.
That's that's my world. You live with a disability, you have medical conditions, you're in the house majority of the time.
Yeah. And
So
I'm thinking your audience really needed connection at that time because you're
yes,
talking about vulnerability. We were all vulnerable, but some people were already vulnerable. So they were now
right,
more vulnerable. So they really
right.
needed that connection.
Yeah, definitely. And I didn't really know how much I was affecting that community until I was having my guests like, thank you. Nobody has ever even asked me what my story is. Nobody even ever cared. This is literally the first time someone even asked me, so tell me about your story without the definition of like, dang, you jacked up. I genuinely wanted to know. The concern was literally there. And I wanted to know. I gave you the opportunity to just be you, however that looks. I just
Right.
want to know who you are.
Right.
Beyond not just your disability, not just your medical condition, but beyond that. Because a lot
Who
of
you
people,
are. Right.
yeah. And what I realized is a lot of people that have disabilities and medical conditions, they have businesses, they are very wise, but
Hmm.
they get swept away because of their physical
Stigma.
appearance.
Hmm. Hmm.
Boom. So I'm like, oh, we about to break that over here. We about to break that. I'll be the
Oh,
first person.
there you go. There you go. Okay, you're also an author and your book titles. You just lay it on out there, sis. Talk to us about your books.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, so my first book is called Damaged But Not Dead. And I wrote that actually during the pandemic as well. It took me about 8 years to write it because I was like, what am I writing about again? My grandfather was the inspiration. He told me to write my book before he passed. And I was very hesitant and in denial because I felt like I didn't have anything to talk about. And not too long after that, so many other people were like, "Go write the book," not even knowing that my grandfather said it. But it was just so much confirmation. I said, "Okay, write the book." So, Damaged but Not Dead is the book literally about my life, my perspective about my life. I've never really shared what I've dealt with. I've just answered questions, but I never really shared, or my parents have discussed it. But it's from my view, what it looked like dealing with it from me. It's definitely not a book of structure where it's proper. How I'm talking now, like, look, player, because here's it. That's how the book is written. It's literally how the book is written. So my next book, Self-Talk, but you can eavesdrop too. That book came from the journey of when I was doing chemo. I did chemo for 6 years, 187 chemo treatments, and it was rough. It was a lot. I had to stop working, I had to stop driving. My life consumed chemo and blood work. Like that was it. So during that time, I just kind of came up with sayings, inspirational quotes, just reminders to keep me fighting, to keep me going, to keep me knowing that this season is only temporary. And don't dwell on it. Like you're doing it for a reason, but it's not gonna stay.
Right, right.
So I just kind of it's about 100 quotes I just kind of came up with during that time. That's self-talk, but you can eavesdrop to. My next book is called no, my next book is a coloring book. And that is called Don't Let the Disability Fool You. I did that about a year ago. I don't know where the inspiration came from, just me scrolling on Facebook and I saw an outline uh of a kid and I was like, huh, I think a coloring book would be dope. But I think a coloring book for us, for our community would be dope. I haven't
Mhm.
seen it, so let me do it. And that the coloring book happened in 2 days. From the
Wow.
thought to the published, it happened in 2 days. And I was just like, what in the world, girl? If you put your mind to something, you just all right. Yeah, so and I was very excited. So every page is about 30 pages. Every page of that book is of a person, a kid, someone doing something physical or just living life, but they all have a disability. They all have some type of ailment. They all have, but they're enjoying life. Um,
Yes.
and my next book is called what is it called? Early One Sunday Morning. And that's my most recent book. And I did that. It's literally a story of my life with two parents, two fathers that are pastors. One
Mhm.
is a pastor in one denomination and the other is a pastor in another denomination. So Domo, what does that look like for you? Because that's a lot. And it's not a bashing book. It's not a book of it's literally like my perspective of what my life looks like as a PK in two different denominations with two
Mhm.
different fathers.
Mhm.
Pretty dope
Okay.
though.
Pretty dope. Pretty dope. Confidence coach.
Yes, man. I don't know how I fell
Now,
into
I'm going
that.
to interrupt you here because I think confidence coach is a stretch for you. You seem just a little too shy, and I don't see you injecting confidence into people. I don't mean to be rude.
It's
I think you
okay.
need to. I think you need to work on that.
Just a little bit, huh? Just a little bit, not too much. Just a little bit. Just
More
add that little spice
constructive,
in there.
more constructive criticism.
Man, I know, but low key, like I really am shy. A lot of people don't think it, but I really am. But I don't know when the camera comes on, I just and I think what it is I'm passionate about who I am.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
I think that is what gives me the drive to continue on to, just talk and express myself. But so everything literally happened during the pandemic because I had so much of an advantage because I lived my life at home majority of my life. So
Yes.
you guys were in my field. You guys were living my world. So I knew what to do when the world shut down. I'm like, oh, this is normal. Like, why y'all losing your mind? Oh, that's crazy. So that was my like slingshot to just do everything. Anything I thought of, I went to sleep, woke up like, you be a confidence coach. All right, let's take the classes, let's take the courses. And that's
Mhm.
literally what I did. I took one course and I found out that there was to become a master certified coach. I ended up taking 4 more courses and then I took one more to be a disability confidence coach because I wanted to be very specific in my
Yes.
field. And got the certificate and I was like, well, you kind of do it on your show a little bit. So it makes sense. Like, get the credential for it, big dog. We doing legal stuff over here. Check.
When I became a certified Christian life coach for women, it sounds like what you would, I realized I'm already doing this. This is what I'm already doing.
Literally.
Yeah, yeah. I'm glad I've got it up on the wall right there. But this is what
You know what?
and that felt so confirming when the teacher who has all these alphabet and letters after her name, she says, "No, this is the best practice for that." And I'm like, "Yeah, I know, because that's what I do."
Right, duh.
Yes, it's so confirming.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
is. I need to get my certificates are stored away. I need to put mine up too.
girl, I'll put them on the wall, looking right
I
at them.
need to
There we
I need to
go.
put on the wall for sure.
Now, let's talk about the entrepreneur. Did I see something about specialized medical devices that you make or something like that?
Okay, so when I turned 22, I my doctor was like, "You need a walker," and I said, "Who?" Because I know you're not talking about me. I got stuff to do. Like I'm 22 years old. Who are you talking to? Because no. And I was in so much denial, but I kept falling. And my doctor was like, "So you can fall, or you can go and get this walker and go about your business." So I was like, "I'm going to get this walker, but don't tell me what to do first of all." But I'm going to get this walker. But because of my personality and my dress code, and I'm always like bright, colorful, I did not like the silver plain Jane 72-year-old looking walker. So I started decorating my walker, like literally spray painting it, finding different tape, finding different decor to just add on, make it pop. Um, that kind of turned into a lot of looks when I had a lot of doctor's appointments, and people kept stopping me like, I've never seen a walker. I've seen a walker blinged out, but not colorful. And that was like kind of the light bulb of like, wait a minute, I feel like I could do this for other people. And also that brings confidence to people that kind of feel like in the shadows because they have to use a medical accessory. And I was like, well, thank you, Lord, that I was the example of showing people what confidence looks like beyond your disability. And it became a business called Walking by Design. So that's what I
Ah,
do. Customized medical accessories, walkers, canes, all that.
okay. Okay. So let's switch for just a minute. What do you see as the most pressing issue in the disability community now?
That's a great question. I think the most pressing is the accessibility outside. There's not a lot of accessibility, and if it is, it's very, very, very limited. Example, why do we only have two parking spaces? Nevertheless, the people that are able bodies have the whole entire parking structure.
I see what you're
Um,
saying. You're saying if you're going to Food Lion or you're going to Kroger, there are two handicapped
yes,
spaces, but then there are, I
so
see what you're
many. And then
saying. Mhm.
even
And if
let's just
and
go
then if two people are in the store who happen, you just got to come back, I
right.
guess.
And the struggle of just like getting, we already struggle getting from our car to the front door or getting from the house to the car. But imagine trying to do one step and that's your only step for the day, because we have limits. Like, okay, we're going to go to one store for the day, and you try to go to that one store and accomplish one goal, and you can't because you have to park a half a mile away, and our step limit is probably like 3 or 4, and those 3 or 4 steps have to be inside the store. So
Right.
imagine you haven't even got to the store yet, and you're already feeling defeated because you can't even accomplish one goal compared to the other able bodies that this is their third drive. This is their third, you know what I'm saying? So I
Hmm.
think that's a lot of the struggle that we have, the accessibility of just our regular everyday process.
Okay. Okay. I want to flip now to the confidence coach. How do you define confidence in the context of disability?
It's an inner thing. I definitely feel like it's an inner thing. Everybody's confidence is different, because everybody's lifestyle is different. Everybody's body is different. I think you have to learn who you are as a person, and you have to build on what remains.
Mm,
A lot of people, they try to accomplish or they try to be something, and they try to do something that they know that they're incapable of doing. But
mhm.
what you have, build that, strengthen what remains. I know for a fact that I cannot walk far. I know that. But my confidence is having a walker.
Mm,
That's my confidence. And someone else's confidence could be in their wheelchair,
mhm,
but they're
mhm.
able to do things. So my thing is, whatever your limitation is, there are things that you're not limited to. Strengthen that part.
I think that that is great advice for anyone. You started out saying, when I asked you about confidence, you said it's an inner thing. That's it across the board. I think some people have the issue that they're gaining their confidence or they're leaning on their outward. They're leaning on their hair or their size or their face or their
Mm-hmm.
this or their that,
Yeah,
their ability to walk, their ability to run, their
right.
intellect, all of that. But when you put that aside, your confidence really is inner.
Yeah, it's definitely
Yeah.
inner, because people will, now here's the thing. People can tell if you're confident if you believe in your own self. And
Mhm.
they're gonna treat you how you treat you. If you don't believe in yourself, I'm not gonna believe in you either. Because I'm not about to do more than you do for yourself.
Well, let me back you up for a second. You said people can tell if you're confident. What are some tells? What are some signs? Suppose I'm trying to give off this aura that I'm confident. I'm presenting as if I'm confident. I feel good about me today. I'm confident. You're looking at me. How would you know that that's really not true? She's not confident.
Well, it's your posture, it's the way you talk, the affirmation of you talking, your tone of voice. Um, it's the way you carry yourself when you're not talking. I can just
Mm,
look at you. And when you're most vulnerable is when you feel like you're not being looked at.
mm,
That's when you're most vulnerable. And people can just tell. I don't believe in like or energy, nothing like that, but energy is something that's real and you can feel it. Just like when we first started talking, you was like, yeah, I can already tell. I can already tell. And we haven't even had a full conversation.
did say
You know,
that. I said, just from reading you, I
right.
said, I can already tell this is going to be a different kind of conversation.
Exactly. And it's because of the way I presented myself. I presented myself very, I mean, confidently, but assurant, very assurant. I know who I am. You can't tell me anything different about myself. You can ask me all the questions you want, and I'm going to give you an answer that is very firm and very assurant because I know who I am and I know what I'm saying. That's
Okay.
pretty much it.
Okay, I have a list of questions here that I'm looking. I keep looking at you and then looking over
Yes,
here.
ma'am.
What are some common barriers to confidence that people with disabilities face, and how do you help them overcome those challenges? And there are some that come easily to mind, but I'm sure you see others. And how do you help them overcome that as a confidence coach?
So a lot is one that I hear a lot of is they're kind of misunderstood.
Mhm.
A lot of times when you're around or when you're surrounded by people that don't understand your disability or limitation, then you kind of become like the person that you don't want to be heard, you want to be seen because you automatically feel like okay, you're not going to explain it, you're not going to understand anyway.
Yeah.
But from my perspective, and even just and like I said, everything I say is because I've been through it too. Um, I'm not here for you to understand because you're probably never going to understand. But listen,
Mm,
that's all I'm asking. I'm not even asking you to even. You don't even have to ask questions,
right.
but just be there. A lot of people that have disabilities, medical conditions, they just want someone to be there. That's like the
Mm,
biggest thing. If I
right.
have you in my corner, just rock with me as a person, not rock with me because of my condition, because of my
Right.
limitation. I think that's the biggest thing.
I'm wondering in your work as a confidence coach, have you ever had a client that was angry,
I
severely
did.
depressed, anxious, and you had to work all the and I'm wondering if there are points in your life where you had that.
So I'm gonna speak on a client that I had, and it was also a person that I interviewed, and they just became a client. So as we're talking and discussing, and he was very fresh in his medical condition, and he just felt he was in that angry mode, and I just began to ask him what he was passionate about. What do you like to do?
Mm,
And what like what's your love? What do you gravitate to? And he said, at that point, his was poetry. He likes writing. So I asked him what made him stop. And he said that he didn't feel like he didn't have motivation because of his situation. I said, well, turn that situation into motivation. Write about it. Get it out. Because if you hold that in, it's going to keep causing anger. So now, a few months in, now he's like, I feel so free because I was able to just kind of release in poetry, in writing. And now, like, his words are starting to become a little lighter, and the passion of what he used to write about is starting to come back because he
mm,
got all the You got all the anger, all the questions, all
Yeah,
the
yeah.
all that out.
Yeah, let the poetry be a conduit. Just let it go through you.
Let it go through.
Don't let it
Get
stop in there.
Yeah. And I was
Yeah.
like, don't stop writing until I said, don't stop writing. Just don't stop writing.
Mhm.
Anytime you think about something, just write it. Anytime.
Yeah.
So now for me, I thank God, and I'm so sincere when I say this, I thank God I have never been depressed. I've never been
Mm.
in a place of depression. I've never been in a place of like I'm tapped out. Now, I'll take that back. I've been in a place where I'm tapped out, but I've never been in a place where I want to give up.
Okay.
Um, and meaning like I'm just tired.
You're tired. Yes, I can see
Yeah,
that. I can see
I'm
that.
tired, but I've never been tired enough to where I want to end things. Never
Hmm.
been there.
Hmm.
But I'm grateful for that. And I think that came from two things. One, I've been dealing with medical conditions since I was 9 years old. And I'm 36. So that's the majority of my life. I learned how to live with an ailment. I've learned how to maneuver life with a limitation. Two, at a very young age, because I started young, my mom taught me confidence. She taught me how to be confident in a world where people criticize, people question, people look at you up and down. You're going to be different. It just is what it is.
Hmm.
You're gonna be different. That's it. You're gonna have some limitations. There are going to be things, people, places that you can't go, that you can't do because of your limitation, and that's okay. That doesn't make you less than. So I learned that at a young age, and I just kind of I strengthened that part of it. Because my thing is my physical is not as strong, so my mentality is about to be amazing. My
That's
mentality
where
is
that
about to be
muscle
A1.
is. That muscle.
That
It
muscle
kind of
memory.
sounds like you're giving your clients your mother's advice.
Yes.
Yeah. You're also a conduit.
Right. I'm like, well, it
Mhm.
worked for me. So it
Yes.
gotta work. It has to, because
It's,
I'm so grateful that I've never been in a position of what depression looks like. And
mhm.
I had to, and I'm being 100% honest. I at one point I felt like it wasn't real because I'm like, well, it's not something I could see. I'm used to seeing physical ailments. That's what I'm used to. But I had to realize, no, like this is real life. And now even with my show, I learned from people like, okay, depression is real. And now I kind of understand what that looks like without the physical ailment.
Okay. So my next question, you've kind of talked to that about already. I was going to ask you, how do you take care of your own mental and emotional health while you're supporting others through their challenges? Do you ever have days where, ooh, I really just want to be in bed, but you feel called to do this? Have you ever had a day where you felt so bad, but after working with your client, that turned it around? And do you ever have days where I just need to cancel everything and get still?
Yes, I am an advocate of no, not doing it. I would say that as fast as I breathe, blink my eyes, because I realized that my body is not accustomed to anyone else's lifestyle. My body is accustomed to my lifestyle. So I had to realize that. And I don't care who I offend if they don't get it, because that means that, okay, you don't care about me anyway.
Oh,
That's how I see it. I see, if you can understand that I need this time physically, I need this time because of what I deal with physically. If I say no, there is a reason, then that means that you really don't care about who I am as a person. So now you really not about to get my time. Mm-mm. I'm not about to give you my time when you don't even think about, girl, girl, go on. That's my view. But when it comes to clients and when it comes to me talking to other people, I don't take it personal. I don't take it home. I deal with it right then and there. I deal with them and their personal problems, discuss it. And after I'm done with that, then I'm done with that. I don't think about it anymore. I don't dwell on it, because I need that separation from business to coaching to author to writer to person to friend to
Right.
daughter. I need that. I need that separation.
Okay. All righty. Let's look to the future. What are the goals? What goals do you have for your advocacy and work that you're doing?
Okay, so first off, I want to see Oprah. I want to see Oprah. I want to meet Oprah. I want to get all her knowledge. Because in her own right, she was amazing as a talk show hostess. And I think that, and she has so many things have birthed out of her, in entrepreneurship and just in wisdom and who she does and what she's brought, what she's birthed. So I want to meet, that's one. Two, I want my show to be one of the shows that is like vastly talked about because it's so different.
Mm.
I want it to be something that's just so interesting because it's never heard of. Like, I want it to just be like one of a kind, because it's like, wait, so what you're saying is you have a disability and you only interview people with medical conditions and disabilities? Like, that's it? And that's the whole, like, that's it? For real? Like, who? And
Who
it
else
makes me
is
like,
doing that?
right.
It is amazing to me that entrepreneurs sometimes set out to do another version of what they already see when your gifting and your calling and your success is going to be over here where I mean, there's nobody over here.
Nobody.
Nobody.
Nobody. And that's a beautiful thing about becoming your own, I'm gonna say brand, becoming your own brand, because you literally have free range to do, take away, add, compromise. You can do whatever. Like,
Because
literally
it
whatever.
literally rolls down to what Sheree said. Who gonna check me, boo?
Who gonna take me, boo? Who?
Who's gonna tell me I'm doing this wrong?
Right. Who? And if I am, what? I'm gonna do it wrong again. And maybe I like the wrong.
What are you working on now? Do you have another book planned? You just come off of hiatus with your talk show, correct? Tell us
Yes.
about your talk show when that's live.
Yes, ma'am. So I go live stream on Facebook, on YouTube every Tuesday at 9 p.m. I'm sorry. Well, 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. 7 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Mountain Time, 10 p.m. Eastern. I got it all down pat. So I go live stream every Tuesday. And I was on a hiatus. I take the month of July off simply because two reasons. I like to go on vacation, and most people are on vacation. And I don't believe in just working yo off. I don't believe in that. I definitely believe in the balance of life and things. So I took the month of July off. So actually tonight will be my first time coming back from the month of July. So I'm really, really, really excited. I'm excited to have my guest on. And I'm just at a place to where I was dealing with a lot of medical conditions. My knees. I just found out that I have arthritis in both my knees and my foot. And I was just dealing with like all the allergies, going back and forth to the doctor, emergency. So now I'm at a place to where I'm trying to get my rhythm back, if that makes
Mm,
sense.
mhm,
I don't want to start anything and not accomplish what I'm already doing.
mhm.
I think that's crazy to just start something and you already have something going on and you haven't even like taken care of that, making sure that's good. So I'm not in a rush. I realize that I'm a type of person that I would do something and then I feel like I need to do something else because I wasn't satisfied. And it's like, girl, soak in that. Like, you just wrote a whole book. Relax. You ain't got to do nothing else for the rest of the year if you don't want to. I gotta tell myself that every day. Like, girl, chill. Embrace what you did.
Right. Honor that
Yeah,
because
honor
that
that.
was major. Because that was major.
Right.
Okay, so where can our viewers and listeners find you
Yes. So
online?
I do have a website. I am domojones.com. And then also I am on Facebook and Instagram and TikTok, all under I am Domo Jones. Very easy. And my business page is all on my website. I made it as easy as possible, one and done. And my talk show is called One Being Brave, and that is its own entity. That's also a website, One Being Brave Show. And then on Facebook and on Instagram, it's One Being Brave Show.
Okay.
Boom.
And I'm going to put all of this in the liner notes so they can find you. Okay, so we're at the point in our interview where I ask you the same 5 questions I ask everyone that comes on the show. This is the Healing Words podcast where we use our words to heal. So we use the first letter from the word words. Okay, W. When did you know? I'm not even going to talk about the book. I don't want to just reduce it to the book. When did you know for sure that what you're dealing with is a ministry? It's a whole business. Can you remember when you
I
had that realization?
Yes, during the pandemic.
Okay.
I was struggling during the pandemic because I didn't really feel like I did anything. I didn't feel like I accomplished anything. And then when we got to a place where everybody was on the same playing field, that's when I realized, oh, you actually have, some worth.
Mhm.
That's literally what took everything off during the pandemic, 2019.
Okay. Okay. How do you organize? Now, I usually use organize or obstacle. We're going to do both with you because you can handle it. I want to know, how do you organize your day to do everything that you're doing? And what are some of the obstacles that can impede what you want to do?
So the main obstacle is my body, because I don't know how I'm going to feel. So how I do it is I have to just do, I call it 2 tasks. So I'm only going to accomplish 2 tasks today. And if I can make 3, then I can make 3. But my goal is always going to hit that 2, because I know that with that 2, it's not too little and it's not too much. But I know that I'll be able to accomplish that. And that for me, that 2 is the whole day. I have the
Mhm.
whole day to accomplish that 2. Because like I said, I don't know how my body's gonna feel. So when I feel up to it, I'm gonna accomplish it. But I have that entire day to
Mhm.
accomplish that 2.
Okay. Okay. Well, you say that too. That got me excited because I made a post on my Facebook page about 6 months ago because I am someone that has a lot of things going on in my entrepreneurial, and I also still working in corporate. And I'm the kind of person that when it comes to deciding what my next thing is going to be, I will freeze. I've got plenty to choose from, but I will freeze. But what has got me through that is instead of saying, what's the next thing to do? I choose 2 things. I don't
Mm-hmm.
know the science or the psychology behind it, but when I say 2, my mind opens up and says, "Okay, girl, this is what we're gonna
Right.
do." But if I try to do 1, my mind is like, "Go lay down,
Okay.
go lay down. We can't figure it out." But if I say, "Okay, I'm gonna do this and that," and then I'll take a break, something
Mhm.
about that too just opens everything up.
I know. It's like a whole new world. I don't know what it is about that too. It just opens up so many ideas, fresh
Mhm, mhm.
thoughts. I mean, you just
And
like, well, I
before
can come.
that, it's like I got nothing.
I have absolutely anything.
I know
Don't
I'm
have
gonna go
babies
eat some potato chips
and watch a movie or something because I don't
and
know
watch
what to do.
Dateline and watch a Dateline episode because I got too much to do.
For real.
Okay, R, rear view. You're very, very vulnerable. You're very open with what you've gone through, going through, and in helping your clients. But I'm wondering, and even in your book, do you ever say sometimes, I shouldn't say that. Maybe that's too much. Maybe that's something I should keep to myself. Have you ever had that mental battle with what to say and what not to say, what to share and what not to share?
I did, and that didn't work because that's when everybody was like, "Well, you need to share your story," because I would always go with, "Oh, my mom told you, my dad told you," So like you're good. You already know.
Mhm.
And it was like, okay, but we need to hear from you, because if you're going through it and you don't talk about your experience, whatever that looks like, I know that it's not for me. My story, my life is not, girl, it's not even about you. I really had to realize that. So I really don't have a filter, because my life is not a filter.
Mm.
Everything that I go through is meant for somebody, and it's a lesson or a blessing. So I don't
Mhm.
regret anything. I don't filter. I'm not like a cusser. I don't do nothing like vulgar or anything. But when it comes to my life, I am literally an open book, because I know for a fact that it's going to help somebody. And it
Mhm.
has. So I'm like, okay, well, you kind of doing what you're supposed to be doing then. If the
Right.
goal is to help, what you're saying is all right.
Give us an example of your advocacy or your confidence coaching that has helped.
So one thing I say to everyone is, I use this motto: confident looks good on you, get it in every color.
Oh.
Um, and I live by that. I live by that myself, because like I said a little earlier, the confidence is within, right? So whatever your confidence is, yo, spread that like it on wildfire, because it's literally for somebody. And I think a lot of people have to realize what you go through is not for you at all. Like, it's not about you. It's not. It's literally to help some people. If I did not share my story, if I did not even just show my face, that probably would have been someone's end of their life.
Right.
It, like, literally someone's presence could just save their life. You don't even have to
Mhm.
say nothing. A smile.
Mhm.
So I'm like, whatever your thing is, whatever your knack is, if you're good at, like, girl, give me a hug. That hug can do millions, billions to one person.
Right.
Get that Johnny, get a sweater, get a mug, get a t-shirt, get a headband, get a sock, get it all.
There you go. There you go. For the S, how have you been strengthened um, by the work that you do? How has it strengthened you?
A lot of it is listening to different stories. It definitely keeps me humble, because it's like, girl, you ain't going through nothing. You should be very grateful for where you are, because there's always somebody worse off than you. Like, you all right. It's not that bad, because there's so much worse. There's somebody dealing with so much worse. There's somebody that's going through, that's in it. Um, to be honest, I've dealt with this same medical condition since I was 9 years old. So imagine, I'm dealing with since I was 9. I know what it looks like. Somebody that's 33 and they just automatically stumbled upon a medical condition 2 months ago. Their whole life has changed. Girl, you
Right.
all right? You're not that bad. You know what you're doing. They don't. They're trying to learn this entirely new life. So
Right.
I definitely I love listening to, different stories, because it just reminds me, like, God, you're amazing. Like, God, you're doing your big one. Because for us to go through all of this and we're still alive to tell it, to talk about it,
Hmm. Hmm.
child,
Right.
man.
Right.
I'm like, I'm Superman. I'm Superwoman. Can nobody tell me nothing? And can nobody tell
Yes,
you
you
nothing,
are.
because you're dealing with it and you're still alive? Come
We're still
on.
here.
We're still
We're still
here.
here.
And everybody is dealing with something. It doesn't have to be anything medical. Everybody's dealing with something, but they're still alive to talk about it and to tell it. Whether you're going through it, whether you just got out of it, or whether you're about to, you're still alive to tell it. Like, man.
I wish we would get to the point where we understood that the connections that we come across on our path, they're there to strengthen us. I was talking to a young lady last night, um, as a pre-interview for something that she's going to be on the podcast, but it's something else that we're going to be together. And our schedules kept, we scheduled and I had to change and then she had to change. When we got together last night, It was supposed, normally that's like a 20-minute, 30-minute talk just to make sure we're aligned. Do you agree?
Yeah.
Do you see this? We were on Zoom for like 2.5 hours.
Really?
I walked away from there more sure
Yeah.
that this is what I'm supposed to do. She
Yeah.
did the
Yeah.
same thing. We both sent each other a text this morning, like, oh my gosh, that was a great conversation. There's something to be said for doing what you're called to do. Because if you're doing what you're called to do, you're going to connect with the people that you're supposed to connect with. You're going to lift
That's
each
it.
other up. It's amazing. I'm
Yes.
so excited for the young man that you said that you were talking to,
Yes.
because at some point in his writing, once he learns that this is a conduit, he's going to bless someone else.
Exactly.
That came, that the genesis of that was you doing
Yeah.
your
Yeah. Yeah.
inner work. And you
Yeah.
got that from your mama who did her inner work. See what I'm saying? We're so interconnected.
Everybody's intertwined. Everybody. That's why I always say, like, it's not about you, because what you go through is to help somebody else. Your story is to help somebody else, push them so they can help somebody else. And we all just, it's like a domino effect,
Yeah.
literally.
Go on and give what you've got away. Don't
Yeah.
hoard it, because somebody around you is going to give you what you gave to someone else.
What you deplete. Thank you. Better listen.
That
You better talk.
is,
You better go in
I
there.
should
That's not.
start a podcast.
You should start a podcast. What
I
are you
should
doing,
start
girl?
a podcast. That's it.
Yeah. It
That
is.
mentality that has us hoard and play small and focus on and major on the minors. And I'm certainly not minimizing any real physical or emotional pain that anyone is going through.
Yeah.
But once you get beyond, the whole world opens up.
Whole
It
world.
absolutely opens up.
So
Th-
true. That is so
Yeah,
true.
yeah. Then next thing you know, you got a live radio show and you're writing books with nice titles and you're making medical devices and you're a confidence coach.
Right. It's just like commas. You just keep
She
going.
said commas.
It's like you just keep commas, just commas. What else can
That's
I do?
it.
Yeah, literally. Because it gives you confidence in your area
Yes.
of expertise. Like it gives you confidence. And also you perfect your gift, you perfect your purpose.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
you never know. And my thing is, and the reason why I have so many, we're gonna call them commas, is because I was able to explore what I'm passionate about. And I didn't even know there was so much world behind it. So much. Like I'm not even done. I don't know what else is out there, but I'm going to figure it out. Maybe I'll fall asleep, take a nap, and come back up like, oh, I can do this.
Exactly. Exactly. And you keep doing that, ma'am.
Thank you. You too. Because I love what you're
I
doing.
certainly share. Oh, we're gonna work again. I just feel like we're gonna work together again.
Come on.
Got that feeling.
That's what I'm talking about.
I want to thank you so much, Domo, for dropping by and sharing your passion with us, sharing your energy with us, giving us these great tidbits. I'm going to put in the liner notes how everybody can contact you and be in touch with you. And I just again thank you so much for what you're doing and keep doing it. Keep adding those commas.
Thank you so much. And thank you for the opportunity. I definitely don't take it lightly. And you keep adding those comments too. We're going to add comments together, okay?
There we go. Thank you, everyone. I'll see you next time on the Healing Words Podcast.